A Course in Miracles. Lesson 22. What I see is a form of vengeance. Today's idea accurately describes the way anyone who holds attack thoughts in the mind must see the world. Having projected anger onto the world, vengeance is seen as about to strike back. Attack is then perceived as self-defense. This becomes an increasingly vicious circle until there is a willingness to change perception. Otherwise, thoughts of attack and counterattack will preoccupy the mind and populate the entire world. What peace of mind is possible then? It is from this savage fantasy that escape is desired. Is it not joyous news to hear that it is not real? Is it not a happy discovery to find that escape is possible? What was made to be destroyed includes everything hated, attacked, and feared. All that is feared does not exist. Look at the world about you at least 5 times today, for at least a minute each time. As the eyes move slowly from one object to another, from one body to another, say to yourself, I see only the perishable. I see nothing that will last. What I see is not real. What I see is a form of vengeance. At the end of each practice period, ask yourself, is this the world I really want to see? The answer is surely obvious. Lesson 22. What I see is a form of vengeance. This is one of those lines that quietly exposes the whole machine. What I see is a form of vengeance. Not sometimes, not when triggered, not when someone else started it. A form. Meaning perception itself has become the weapon. Because vengeance isn't only an action. Vengeance is an interpretation, a posture, a lens that says something happened that should not have happened, someone must pay, and safety will come after punishment. So the world becomes a courtroom, not a classroom, and everyone becomes evidence. Not a brother, but a suspect. Here is why it must be called a form of vengeance. Because vengeance requires an enemy. An enemy requires separation, and separation requires a story. If the mind holds attack thoughts, the mind has already decided separation is real. Then it looks out and finds proof. But it is not finding. It is projecting. Projection does not show what is there. It shows what is wanted. And what the ego wants is justification to keep guilt. Guilt needs an alibi. Vengeance is one of guilt's favorite alibis. I'm not guilty, I'm responding. I'm not attacking, I'm defending. I'm not hateful, I'm righteous. Same weapon, different label. You have a form of vengeance against nothing. Exactly. The mind is trying to punish an illusion for being an illusion, trying to execute shadows, trying to sentence smoke. Because the target cannot be hit, the anger never resolves. So it has to keep moving. New villain, new cause, new comment section, new they. That is why the Course calls it a vicious circle. Not because people are evil, but because the logic is insane. The ego's logic is simple and false. I feel threatened, therefore I must be threatened. I feel attacked, therefore someone attacked me. I feel fear, therefore something fearful exists. Feelings become facts. And then the mind builds a universe to defend the mistake. Now look at the key phrase. A little willingness to change how he sees. Not what he does, not who he blames, not how the world should behave, not what others must learn, how he sees. Behavior is downstream, perception is upstream. The mind can act nice with the same attack lens. That becomes polite vengeance, spiritual vengeance, therapeutic vengeance, righteous vengeance in soft clothing. You made what you would destroy. That sentence is both terrifying and liberating. The enemy is not encountered. It is manufactured. The wrong is not discovered. It is assigned. The offense is not objective. It is selected, defended, remembered, and turned into identity. That is why grievances are guarded so fiercely. Because if the grievance goes, the identity built on it goes too. The ego would rather suffer with a story than float free without one. All that you fear does not exist. That is not poetry. That is a direct assault on the sensory worldview. Fear always points to form, bodies, loss, outcomes, death, time. But fear is never about those things. Fear is about guilt. Guilt is about separation, and separation never happened. Fear is real to the dreamer, but the thing it points to is not real. Like a smoke alarm screaming in a room with no fire. Loud, convincing, urgent, mistaken. Why is the perishable called vengeance? Because perishability is the ego's proof that love is unsafe. If everything changes, decays, and disappears, attachment becomes fear-based. Love becomes conditional. Loss becomes inevitable. So the mind stays guarded, defensive, preemptive. Vengeance is fear with a strategy. In a perishable world, the ego believes it must control, punish, predict, stay ahead. But staying ahead is just staying afraid with a schedule. So the practice trains the mind to catch itself, not to shame it, to expose it, to see that the eyes are being used to confirm attack, to see that perception has become prosecution. Then comes the question that collapses the whole structure. Is this the world I really want to see? That is not a motivational question. That is an identity question. If the answer is no, the mind must admit it has been choosing this. Not as a victim, as a decision maker. That is why the answer is surely obvious. No one wants to live in self-defense forever. No one wants every interaction to be a trial. No one wants peace to be conditional. The ego pretends it does, but the mind beneath it does not. So here is the holy flip. If what is seen is a form of vengeance, forgiveness is not being nice. Forgiveness is changing what seeing is for. Not to find guilt, not to confirm danger, not to recruit allies, but to withdraw projection and let perception be healed at the root. Not, I will stop attacking, but I will stop needing an enemy. That is the escape. That is the jailbreak. This lesson does not teach behavior management. It teaches lens replacement. And when the lens changes, the world changes, without the world being asked to cooperate.